they said it was difficult at time, to get services and to get classes to get paid.
A Quebec woman is sounding the alarm when it comes to financial assistance for families and victims of criminal acts. She is the friend of the parents of one of the young victims of the Laval daycare bus attack, where 2 children were killed north of Montreal in February. The families of 4-year-old Jacob and 5-year-old Maeva are not speaking publicly, but Josée Bélanger has launched a petition on Quebec's National Assembly website calling on the province to revise its 2021 reform of EVAC, the compensation for victims of criminal acts. Her friends haven't worked since the attack on February 8th, and EVAC is giving them 90% of their salary, but only for 3 years, rather than for life as it was before the reform.
In 2 years, if they're not capable, if they're still in post-traumatic stress of dealing with losing their children, they won't be able to go back to work. Then what? What's going to happen to them?
Bélanger herself is an EVAC recipient after her own family tragedy when she was 5 years old.
I've been fighting with EVAC for over 10 years now.
She says the families of the young victims only have $94 of therapy visits covered, even when sessions cost $150.
Don't you want them to get better and focus on something else instead of staying at home and crying?
The CNESST, Quebec's Workplace Safety Board overseeing EVAC, could not respond to our request for comment in time for our deadline. The Office of Quebec's Justice Minister Simon Jolin Barrette says they cannot comment on specific cases, but in a statement they say, before the reform of EVAC, a parent of a deceased child could only be recognized as a victim if the child had been murdered by the other spouse. We corrected this with the reform so that now all parents of a minor child who died following a criminal offense can be entitled to support services. They say if after 3 years the parent is still unable to work, they can be eligible for a 2-year extension of compensation.
It's not normal that you have to keep on taking the phone and say, I would like, and no.
She says she wants more support for victims. 51-year-old Pierre-Ny Saint-Amand is accused of the 2 first-degree murders and more charges in the Laval case.
He is receiving all the services he needs. A psychiatrist, he's food, he has a roof over his head. Meanwhile, the victim cannot have any of those. It's ridiculous.
In Montreal, Alyssia Rubertucci, City News.